Alright, in this video, we are going to build a Db2 HADR or header from scratch. The build is going to be very simple. It's just the basic boom. So in the previous videos, we created a database, and also we enabled the archiving archive logging. So let's draw the diagram. So basically, previously we have a Linux system, and we installed Db2, created instance, and created a database. And after that, we enabled archive logging. So, and today we're going to introduce another Linux. So we're going to build a header between these two Linux. So, okay. So the one in the lab, then it is the host name called rel8hey. And so I'm going to use another box, and it's going to be called rel8b. So for this another box, we have I already installed a Db2 and create the instance. And there's no database, so it's empty. So we're going to use these two servers and build a header. So, and the brief step is like this. So basically, first we're gonna take a backup of this database. Let me use a text, okay? So the basic steps is basically backup the database. The get backup is going to be as online backup. Then transfer the database from one server to another, from, let's say, called the primary server to the standby server, okay? And on the standby server, we're gonna do a restore DB. And on the standby server, and what is next we're gonna do is going to be update database configuration files and start it as standby. So, and on the primary, so we're gonna do the same thing, is update the database configuration file and start it as primary. Then we're gonna check the header status, make sure the primary and the standby it is in sync. So this is basically the basic steps we're gonna do. So, and so let's get started. On the header technologies, the counterpart in Oracle is called a data guard, and also in the Microsoft is called always on. They all enjoyed great success and the robustness. Okay, so relative, my opinion, the database DB2 header is relative simple. We'll see shortly. Okay, let's log on to the box, make a basic check. Okay, so let me bring up my Linux server. I need to close this window. Okay, so where's my here? So I have two windows. I use different color. One it is so let's see. One it is for the primary box. The primary and the standby is arbitrary. Okay, so I'm gonna log on as a root. The host name is Red Hat Linux Enterprise Linux, for short. So I'm gonna log on to this box. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to this DB2 instance owner. All right, so let's do a DB2 list, a DB directory. So you will see I have two databases we created. So we're gonna use one of them to build a header. We can build two at the same time, but I don't want to do that because I want to show you the header is on database level. Okay, you can have both header database and the standard long database on the same server on the same instance. Okay, so it's, the DB2 have great flexibility. Okay, you can create another instance. Just FYI. All right, so this is the primary. So for the secondary, let's log on to the same thing. I'm gonna log on the root. The server name is rel 8b. So I'm gonna go to there, and I'm gonna sudo to the db2 ins1. So if I do a db2 list db directory, I don't have any database. It is basically empty. Okay, the instance is up, so we get ready to go. Let me bring back my diagram. All right, so the first step is going to do an online backup of the database. So let me add another one here. Okay. So we basically have two databases in this example. So what we will end up with is we are going to, let's see, we are going to, let's see, paste. Okay. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to back up this database and restore on another server, and then establish the HADR between these two databases. Okay. Let me choose a different. Okay, so this is going to be okay. So we're going to build a header between these two databases. In our case, this is the sample. Another one is GSDB. So we leave this alone. Okay. All right. So let's do the backup first. Let me get my window. Okay. So let me let's see. Let's move here. Okay. All right. So do the backup. So the backup, we're gonna do a online backup. Is going to be db2 backup db sample, and you specify a location because we just need, you can back up wherever we want. Okay, well, I just back up to the current location. So it's finished. No, I have to remove it first, okay? Because we need an online backup to just do it online to here in the current directory, okay? Okay, it's backups finished. So this is the backup. So I'm going to ship this backup to another server, okay? In the real world, I would like to point out one thing, okay? In the real world, it's recommended you have a shared drive between these two servers, okay? You have a shared drive. So, for example, if you back up to this location, and it can be picked up from another server. Also, in the production system, it's also recommended to have shared drive to save the archive log. Okay, so in today's case, we don't have the shared like NFS mount, so we just ship the backups from use like SCP from one server to another. Okay, so let me go back to my command window. So I have the backup. So what I'm going to do is going to copy this one. So I'm going to copy this backup file from one server to another. So the another server is going to be rel 8b, okay? So I'm going to back up to ship to another server in the home directory, okay? So this sample is landed to another server. Let me go to another server. Okay, I have a different color. I'm in the home directory. You see, this is the backup shipped over here. Okay. So the next step we're going to do is to do the restore, and the restore is also simple. And the Db2 Restore DB sample. Of course, in the real world, probably a little bit complex, but the spirit is the same. Okay. And in the real world, probably you're going to create a separate file system, those kind of put the file into a different drive and so on and so forth. Okay, the restore is successful. Now the next step, we're going to update the database parameters to make it like a HADR system, okay? So the command we're going to do is called get dbcfg, okay, for the database name. So you get the database CFG, and then you need to modify to enable this header related parameters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a grep filter any parameters contain the keyword HADR, okay? So this is all the parameters is going to be. So right now you see this empty. So this is the name and value. So we're going to make a change based on our system, okay? So let's save this to a file. So I'm going to call it standby, okay? Standby.cfg, okay? So let's do some editing. So I'm going to edit this standby.cfg. So I'm going to remove some the entries default or not important ones, okay, to make it simple. Like for example, this one time dot value default is fine. The header list we don't need for this situation. The header sync mode we okay with the near sync, okay. You can choose a different mode depending on your requirement. This is I can remove. This can remove. This can remove. Okay. And for these two SSL, so I'm gonna remove. So we can let me just edit these 5 parameters. Let's do some simple editing. Okay. So the first one, it is header localhost. The local means it's relative to the current host. So the current host in our case is the B host, okay? And the local service, that is the port, communicate between these two database two machine. The term in the Microsoft is called endpoint, and in Oracle is basically the port was for the listening. Okay, so here in the DB2 it's called the service name. Okay, or it's port name. So let's take it 5,000. 51,000. Okay, let's just use this port. Okay. Then the remote host. So remote host is called RH, the A box. Okay, RH8A. Okay, and the remote port, we can use the same port. You can use different values, fine. And the remote instance is the DB2 one in our case. All right, this is 5. Let me bring back this diagram. Not this one. Or this one. So the port is the port between communication between these two systems. So this is 5100. Whatever port number you choose, okay, it can be the same because they are listening on a different system. And some, if you prefer to use a different one, it's fine. You can use the same one because they are on a different system. So, say for example, for this one, let's see, you can use a 5111, something like that. But in our case, I'm going to use the same. So for simplicity, okay. All right. So let's go back to the command window, the terminal window, whichever we call this one, blue one. All right, so almost done. So now we're gonna make some editing. Okay, I'm gonna use VI to do the editing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like something like that. Okay, so do a global change. Okay, so I'm gonna do a global change like this. So I'm gonna change this to db2 update dbcfg for sample using that should be good enough. Let's try db2 update dbcfg. Okay, so that looks good. So I'm gonna also global change this one. Global change this one as well. So let's try one more time. This equal. All right, so basically we're gonna update like 5 parameters for the sample database. So I'm gonna save this file. So then I'm gonna run this file. Okay. So I'm gonna run this file. Standby.cfg. Okay. All right, so it's updated the database config file was successful. After that, let's do the let's take a look at again. Okay, if you look at this right now, you will see those ones get changed. So from like so now on the standby, we can start up the database as the standby. So the command is going to be like this. Okay, so it's going to be the db2 command start header on database name as standby. Okay, let's try this one. It says the standby started successful. All right, now let's go back to our steps. So we've done both of this. Okay, restore the database, update the dbcfg. Then it's on the primary on this A box. We're going to do the same thing, update the dbcfg and start it as primary. Okay, so to do that, actually all these parameter files are those config file we can prepare ahead of time if we need to be, okay? But because I plan to do from scratch, I just show here. So I'm gonna just SCP this file to another side of this, to the A box and make a minimum change, okay? So let's do this. Okay, it's over there. So here's the file, okay? It really should be called a shell script. It doesn't matter. So, and I'm gonna rename this one standby cfg2 called primary.cfg. Okay, so let's make some editing. So the prime cfg. So now relative to A box, the local is going to be A. We keep the same port, and the remote is going to be B, and so on and so forth. It looks good to me. So we're gonna run this command. Okay. So if you want to change if you want to change to executable, it's fine, right? So if you want primary CFG, okay. Or let's make it a name change. So in this way, it's clear. It is a shell script. Okay. So let's call this one. Now let's run this script. So it is successful. Now we're gonna start it up this database as primary. Okay, this is the command, the db2 start header on db sample as a primary. So let's run this command. All right, it's successful. So now the primary and the standby is established a header. So how can we know they are good? So we can run a command called db2 pd, followed by the database name, then followed up by HADR. So let's run this command. This command is going to give the status of this header. Okay. So on the primary, you see the header row is it is primary. The sync mode is those. The status is here. This is good. This is the primary member, right? Instance name. Standby host is B, A box, B box. And also it's connected, so look good. Also, if you look at it below, you will see this kind of log position or log gap, like where's the primary log location position, where is the standby location. We can run the same thing, like db2 pd minus d sample minus HADR. Let's do the same thing. So on this side, the header row is going to stand by. You also see the header status appear, that is good because they are in sync. Okay, it's connect to each other. So far so good. So one operation we can do is do a failover. In the Db2, it's called takeover. Okay, so I'm gonna do a takeover, and you will see. So to do the takeover, I need to be in the standby box. So it's here. Okay, the command is db2 takeover. Let me retrieve the command. Okay, it's called take. Let's see if in my history. Yeah, it is in my history. Okay, we do have the history. So the command is db2 takeover header on, then followed by database name. All right, so now if you see, if we run this check header status again, let me pipe two more. So now this on the A box is going to become a standby row, okay? It's a physical standby, and on the B box is going to be becomes the primary. It's already take over. It's needed to be the status, okay? You see on this side, it is the primary, okay? Also, let's do another test. So I'm going to do a Db2 Connect to Sample. So I'm going to create a database table. Let's see, create a table T1, like something. All right, so can create a table. Let's see, I'm going to see Db2 insert into T1, select star syscat.tables. This can be done in one step. I just, for demo purpose, do the 2 steps, okay? So let's do a count star, select count star from T1. We have 485 records. All right, so let's take over back to another box. Same thing, we're gonna run the command takeover, okay? So I can take over header and the database name. Now the database primary is on A box now. So let's double check. So I can do a connection to this database. Let's do a query. All right, so that is what the database header build. I tried a very simple. Let's see, let me go. Let's get that command again, okay? Just want to mention a few things. So in the real world, you might want to adjust some parameters like this one, the header timeout. 120 is default, and it might be increased a little bit. And also the header target list. Right now, we only have one standby. It's called a principal standby. You can add another 1 or 2 standby to this header system, okay? That is, you have to modify this list. And also the header sync mode is near sync. You may choose like the sync mode or super async, those kind of, there's a 4 like depends on the data protection level you want, okay? And the header peer window probably also needed to do some adjustment, okay? So, but still, it's simple, you see, compared to other RDBMS, okay? And it's pretty reliable. Besides that, once you have header built, although currently, every time if we need to do something, we need do the manual failover, right? So let's give an example. But in a production system, you want to do the automatic failover. For example, let's see. I need to patch the A box. So I did some the system admin during the weekend as they push the patch to the system patching, okay, OS patching. So after OS patching, and we need a manual failover the system. Let's see. Right now, this is the primary. So we need to patch this system, and then we need to do a failover, okay? So we're going to failover the B because primary, so people can still connect to the database while you do the patching on the standby, okay? So this all process is going to be manual process. However, during the weekend, you might have that kind of maintenance. You want this to be done automatically, no human intervene. So you shut down this one. The database is automatically failover or switch over. Or this is the Oracle term, switch over or failover. Here we call it the takeover. Okay. For that, IBM also have a decent product to what's called a TSAM. That is what last time in the previous video I installed a demo that installed a TSAM for the clustering. Okay, so I might to get ready to get another video RPM to enable the clustering. Okay. But still, let me do a final demo. So basically, see, the weekend I plan to patching this A box. So in this way, I want the primary is on the B box. Okay. So first, let's do a switch over. So we're gonna switch over to take over the database here. Let's bring the diagram back, okay? So let me see the diagram. So basically, see, this weekend I plan to patch this one. Prior to that, we do a takeover. So we're gonna take over, okay? So we're gonna take over the header system from A to B, okay? Take over. So after takeover, this server becomes the primary, okay? Primary. This is standby. So then we can go ahead to patch this standby. Once this patch is done, then we can take over back, okay? And also, if we in the future to introduce clustering, so actually these two boxes you can have like a VIP, virtual IP. So the application is not connecting to physically like either a standby or primary. They're connecting through this VIP. So it's transparent to the application. Application doesn't know which one is active. They just connect to the VIP and it is redirected to whichever it is active. Okay, so let's continue with the demo. So let me see where it is. Here, here. So where it is? Here. Okay, so already switched over. So now here's the primer, right? So then during the weekend, I've done the patching. Now I'm gonna reboot the server. So I'm gonna do a sudo. I'm not sure if I have the. Okay, so I rebooted the server. So let's wait a minute. All right, let's see if this system back. It's still booting. So one more time. Oh, I think we still need to wait. All right, I think the system is back. All right, so the system is back. Let me sudo to this user. Let's check the header status. Oh, here. All right, so it doesn't it has some problem because we have to bring up this the instance menu, bring up the instance, and then let's just check the header. So it's so now we have to start it manually as well. So we need to start it as a standby. So standby now, okay? All right, so now let's check the header again. So you see, if we don't have automatic the way, so you have to do like manual human intervention, okay? And you can use some script to do, but it's just not very convenient. Anyway, so now see for after this week, I want this one is already patched or upgraded, so I can go ahead to upgrade another one. So this is either they on the like OS level upgrade, maintenance, or database software upgrade, rolling upgrade. You can use this approach. All right, I think that's for today. It's pretty long now. Hopefully, be a little useful in the real situation.